Hey everybody, welcome back to the Super Thomas Bros.
Hey.
We were just talking about the education system, or lack thereof, if you know what I mean. No. So anyway, you were starting to say something, but then we had to cut it off.
Yeah. I was talking about how I remember one time I visited my old elementary school and visited my old 6th grade teacher. He was, a really cool guy and everything. And in elementary school, there used to be a thing, and I don't know if it was, like, common or not. There was something called mountain math, which was, like, in the classroom, there would be these, like, pinned, papers that were on the walls, kind of, and there would be, like, really small math questions. Like, it would usually, like, it'd be something simple, like, what's the parameter of this, rectangle or something, or, what's the area
Perimeter.
of this, or perimeter, what'd I say?
Parameter. I've been programming too much.
Yeah, the perimeter and, the area of a square, whatever, or like a long division thing, just like kind of, small little equation.
It was like a buffet of math, if you will.
Yeah.
It was a smorgasbord of different math concepts for kids to do.
And it was like, I think I remember it being like a range of 20 to 25 of these problems that would be pinned up on the board, and every week they would change, and you would have to do all of them by the end of the week, and then turn it in. And, then the new week starts, and then there would be new problems up, and then it would kind of just do that. And they had it for pretty much every or every class I was in throughout elementary school. And through each grade, then the problems would get more difficult, because obviously they wouldn't start you off with division, You probably don't learn that until, like 2nd grade or something, I don't know.
Something, yeah.
Anyway, so, I'd always remembered that in, 6th grade, we never touched algebra. That was never, like that was something that we had just started to learn in middle school, and if we did kind of learn anything about algebra, it might have been like kind of very small prep stuff, but like, it was almost like extra credit or something like that. But I remember when I visited elementary school that one time, I had looked in the classroom and saw that those mountain math problems had algebra problems, like solving for X and stuff, and they were really simple. But I thought, that's crazy, because we never touched algebra in elementary school, and now it seems like they're kind of pushing that a little bit back more. So I guess the point I'm trying to make, and the point from the last episode, was that, like, over the years, the curriculum changes, the tools change, and stuff like that. So, we were talking about how, schools nowadays don't really have the technology that they should, that could be utilized for learning, and nowadays that could be totally different. Like that shit changes so much.
And I think it is. I think that they are adapting to to using more technology nowadays. But yeah. Or
another example is, I remember in elementary school very briefly, or like, like not so well, because it was like in the early years of elementary school, we used to have we used to have like the cards for the library books, like the cards that you'd check out and, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we transitioned to a computer system where they scan a barcode that's placed in every book, and then they know who has the book, and then you could return it, and then you check it back in and stuff. But, before that, it was this, like, people that are younger than us might not even know.
Exactly, They used to have basically a tiny little wooden cabinet full of paper cards that would essentially, you would, or no, that was the, sorry, that I'm thinking of the cataloging system.
Yeah.
That's still, they had that too. I mean, but it was
Yeah, like before computers and stuff. But yeah,
Right.
like, you know, it was stored in a little tiny folder thing in the front cover, or maybe the back cover of a book. You'd slip
Right.
this little card in, and there would be stamps that they had where they'd have to adjust the dates on them, and then
Yeah.
stamp it, and then you'd sign on that row, and then that's how they kept a record of who was checking this book in and out.
and also
So-
how long you knew you had until you had to return the book before it was late.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think I actually do remember they had like 2 sets of stamps, one for the current date and one for the date that you're supposed to return it, and then they could just stamp both of them at the same time.
Right, yeah.
And then at the beginning of the day, they could adjust them. So, that was how it was. And again, I don't really remember it too much because early on in elementary school for me, they had transitioned to a computer system, which I'm sure they still use today, which is, really cool, makes it really convenient and stuff. But I mean, that's just one of many examples of how they can utilize technology. But at the same time, that's more of a technological thing that helps the teachers and the people that are working there. It doesn't really help the students. It's not really helping.
Yeah.
They're not using that technology for the students' learning benefits. It's more for just the school and the management and stuff.
Right. That's true. But at the same time, I would also argue that little things like that
Makes things more efficient. And
it makes things more efficient, and also it takes resources away from having to deal with manual card systems and maintenances and shit.
Yeah.
Away from that stuff and towards the education.
Yeah, that's it. Good,
And also, I just love technology being used to make things more efficient in general.
Yeah, just for anybody, students or
Right.
teachers or literally anyone else.
I actually have a pretty relevant story unless you're about to
No.
start a new. I just went to the dentist recently, just for like a checkup and x-rays and everything. I don't have cancer, by the way, so check that off the
Nice.
list. Yeah, nailed it. Also, I'm pretty sure they don't check for that. I kind of told the story a little bit on an earlier episode. I said how I was sitting there for like way too fucking long.
Yeah, the little thing that you put in your mouth to for the X-ray, and it only.
Yeah.
And then after that you're sitting there for a while.
Sit for like half an hour watching Moana. That's what we were talking about, Moana.
Yeah. There was
Yes.
Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Well, anyway, so let's continue that tale. When I was sitting there, like the hygienist was the hygienist that I had like the last like couple of times, I think. And I don't really know her name, but she's really nice and everything. But she was like exceptionally nice this last time. She was like in a good mood or something, which was cool. And we were just kind of talking about like how school is starting back up and how she's like trying to get her kids back into the rhythm of going to bed earlier and waking up early after this, which is another fucking reason why summer break sucks. Because it throws the kids' fucking rhythm off. The sleep rhythm. Anyway, so we were kind of talking about school and shit like that. And then she was like, kind of like doing like the barber small talk kind of stuff. Like, oh, what do you do for work and all that shit. And I told her, I work at a company and I'm a programmer and all that stuff. I work at a company.
Yeah. I work for a business.
I do numbers. She was like, oh, so you like write code? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, that's really cool. Which is everybody's reaction. Like, it just is.
Because it is fucking cool.
Well, I think so. I mean, like, considering what you're doing, like, you're learning a new language that computer. So, like, how do you describe being a programmer? It's writing code in a language that only humans understand, but can be easily converted to computers' language, like from what they can understand, to make computers do things really fast.
Yeah.
That's what programming is. Fucking, I could fly, duh. So anyway, so yeah, we were talking about programming and school and stuff like that, and she was like, yeah, everything's like going to like apps nowadays, and everything's like so connected and, you know, internet connected and smart devices, this and everything like that. You know, I was like, yeah, that's just how it's kind of everything's going that way, it seems. And she was like, I volunteer for fuck, did I fuck this up?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how this works.
Yeah, I'm kind of, oh, I know, yeah, I see. I just got to get back to that switch. She was like, I volunteer sometimes as like a teacher aide for like the PE classes. And she's like, and basically what that means is I watch the kids run around a lap, and then I mark their hand every time they've run a lap, so that we know how many laps they've run, because they have to run, you know, 4 laps every, you know, day.
Week or something.
Right, or whatever, yeah. I think we ran a mile every day, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I thought we ran a mile every week. Every Wednesday, I remember, was the mile.
Oh, right, okay. Well, whatever it is. And she's like, I can imagine, like, there would probably be something now where, like, they just scan a QR code on the kids. Like, a kid wears a bracelet with the QR code, and you would scan it, and then, you know, do it that way rather than marking it. And I was thinking about it, and like, and I said something like, "Oh, it would be RFID," like right off the cuff.
Yeah.
I said that, and she was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, and I said, because QR codes are are good for like identifying, like complex information, but it takes a long time and you have to stand still for it. Whereas RFID, you can use it to identify simple information, like a simple like identifier.
Yeah, a
but
counter.
It's very fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were just kind of talking about that, and I was thinking like that's a really fucking good idea. Like some kind of system for like easily. God fucking how the fuck is this? How the fuck do I get out of here?
I don't know.
Am I stupid or am I dumb?
Well, can't you just run out the side when you got to the very top there? Like,
was there an opening?
I thought there was. On the right side.
Up here?
Yeah, go up there and then on the right.
No.
Oh, there isn't. Oh, shit.
No, I
sorry.
can't get out. Which is stupid. Like, let me out. I don't understand. I've fucked myself. Can I break this? I kind of can.
Oh, okay.
Oh, can I break this? No. Oh, but I can.
Push it. Maybe you could put water in and then swim down and then push it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now that I can get to the left, I can. Yeah. Just do it this way. So yeah, I was just thinking like that's another example of like technology kind of making it easier and more efficient for just little things like that. Which again, you're right. It doesn't really enhance the
students learning,
right.
Students learning stuff. It's more of like making it easier. But yeah, if you make things easier for teachers and management, you make things cheaper to do because of technology, then those resources could be moved to actual teaching and
right. Yeah, exactly. And also, I would also argue that kids who are interested in the tech sector, which I would imagine is probably growing throughout the years, just because the tech sector is booming as opposed to it was, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Things like that, like
kind of inspire if kids and stuff.
Right, exactly. If I were running on like doing a lap and then like especially if I knew the old way of doing it, like market, like okay, so like let's say they implement that new system and you're a kid and you're used to the whole marking thing and you hate it, or not necessarily hate it, but you live with it. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, now everyone gets these cool wristbands, and you just run by and boop, you beat this thing. Like, if I were a kid, I would be like, this is fucking awesome. Like, I would want to know how it works. Oops. And like, you know, what the deal is and everything. And yeah, it would fucking God. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. All right, I'm okay. God damn it. It would inspire me. It would, oh, I see. It would inspire me to wonder how that, like that magic fucking shit works. RFID is kind of magic.
Yeah.
And who knows? That could lead to a kid finding it. That's what video games did for me. Like Ocarina of Time probably was the one thing that made me want to be a programmer, because it was such a beautiful game, and I thought that it was like so incredible that this fucking world with this story and music and all that shit could fit in a cartridge the size of,
that you can put in your pocket.
Right, not much bigger than like a deck of cards. And I thought, like, this is incredible. I could not believe it. And that kind of led me to think about making games as a living. Like, how cool of a job would it be to make these games? And then later on, I would go to make, little basic Flash games and shit on Newgrounds, and that was kind of my first experience with programming. And then eventually, I kind of after college and stuff, I would come to realize that, like, video games themselves are kind of like a difficult, it's a difficult application to programming. It's pretty demanding. And I would not become a game programmer. I've made some games at, like, I've released games on the App Store and shit like that, but I wouldn't consider myself a game developer.
Yeah, I think it's I think when you make games and it's kind of in your spare time and it's, for fun and it's something that you want to make, it could be a lot of fun. But if you're making games for a company and they're pushing a deadline and, it's this game that you don't really like, but you got to program for it anyway, right. I can imagine it kind of, not being that great, But, at the same time, too, like, video game programming in general is just, I think it's not as, what's the word I'm looking for? I shouldn't really say more difficult, but,
I think it is. I think it's more difficult because when you program for games, you're essentially trying to maximize the possibilities of the hardware more so than like other applications.
Yeah, because it demands like it looking really nice and running really fast and flawlessly and everything like that.
Like you have to do like an insane amount of optimization and stuff to get your game to perform well on like all not just like lower-ish end hardware, but all kinds of different types of hardware and like different manufacturers and everything. Like,
and it's like it's not even just the programming too, but there's a shitload of that kind of right brain stuff. Like there's a lot of creativity that really has to go into a good story, good dialogue, good voice acting. There's artistic stuff, all sorts of that, that you have to consider, music, like there's just a lot of that kind of creative,
like that's a good point, because like everybody at this point, and as well as anyone, that when it comes to finding a job as a programmer, you either need to know somebody or you need to have like work to show for it. It's not really enough to go to college and get a bachelor's degree in computer science and then walk into your nearest game development store and say, hey, give me a job. That may have worked, 20 years ago, but that doesn't work anymore. You have to have games on your portfolio. Like you have to have specific shit to that job on your portfolio. which makes it incredibly.
Well, it could be kind of hard and it can be very frustrating because it's like you might not have the opportunity to add that stuff to your resume if you can't get the job.
It's a catch-22, right?
Yeah, and so that's kind of, and then you start getting into like, well, I mean, then that gets in the whole internship stuff with computer scientists and everything, and that's a whole. They always push you to do that in college.
The fucking scam of.
I feel like it kind of is a scam because
it's a fucking scam. It's. I don't want to get into my fucking shit about how I feel about capitalism and everything. I mean, I'm playing a fucking game on a Dell monitor made by Platonic Games, an Xbox controller with a fucking, MSI motherboard and video card, But at the same time, like you're telling kids who don't know better to work for free for experience. And it's like, would you like I wonder if you ask the CEOs who came up with that idea if they would have done such a thing. I bet you they would not have. They'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, working for free? What kind of, like, what do you take me for?
Yeah. And it's I wouldn't say it's much of a capitalism thing more than it is just like exploitation of like you have kids in college that are promised by society that their job or that after they graduate that they're gonna get this nice job with a good paying job, good pay and all this stuff. They're promised that. Everyone tells them that you have to go to college if you want to get a job that's gonna provide all that. But in order to do that, you have to, for like the time that you're at college, work for free. And if it means getting that job at the end of the college career, kids are more willing to do that. And even though they're worth way more than that, they're worth more than working for free or working for like a shitty pay, just for the experience value of it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's something immoral to that. And I remember like in when I was in college and I knew people who were doing internship stuff, they would ask each other like, oh, what are they giving you? And they would say like, oh, well, we've got catered lunches. And I'm thinking like, really? Like
who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'll go to fucking McDonald's. I want healthcare.
I want money to buy things that I need to live. I can't live in a house that I pay for with catered lunches. You know what I mean? And I know that,
exactly. How about you pay me enough money for me to decide on where I want to eat for lunch rather than catering lunch for free? It means nothing. Yeah,
and it's like, not only that, but in college, a lot of kids have to work full-time to pay for that. So not only do they have to work full-time, they have to take a shitload of classes, actually. Work full-time, and then work for a job that's not going to pay them that much so that they can get experience in the end. And it's like, it's so demanding of college kids.
And you don't even know if the job's it's like, well, I have this piece of paper that says I am a bachelor of this field of science. And it's like, okay, well, what kind of experience do you have? It's like, oh, well, I did a unpaid internship as well at this company. And it's like, oh, cool. What's your professional experience?
Yeah, or well, look what this other kid did. They did 5 years of this internship for this other company that's more suited for our work, so sorry, fuck you. Right. It's like, I don't know, like, I always felt that way in college too, like, and I never interned. I never did any internship stuff. And after I graduated from college, it took me about 9 months or so, I think, to find a job, at least like a full-time job. It for those 9 months, it really sucked. I felt really bad, and I thought like, shit, maybe I should have interned, if it meant,
right.
Because, I never got an interview. I never got a single interview in that 9 months, and I applied for a bunch of places, and, it's
the same. Okay, so this is kind of like, I remember when I was first doing Newgrounds stuff, when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, and I needed to get, so like if you're unfamiliar, Newgrounds is a website that used to be cool and now is stupid. But
they have games and
they have games and movies,
like that.
and that's it. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just rambling now at the end of this episode. I don't know how to get in that fucking room. I don't know how to blow those rocks up. I tried everything.
Was there rock or egg grenades down there or something? Or
oh yeah, you're probably right. Oh yeah. So anyway, Newgrounds has this system called blamming, where basically when you submit a new game or a movie, it goes under a submission, a voting. Oh shit. Okay, calm down. Ugh, sorry, sir. I don't know where the fucking vault is. Everyone's looking for the stupid fucking vault. Anyway, they have the system where you have to get a certain score out of 5 within a certain amount of time, or it's blammed. It's basically rejected and goes into the graveyard. But people on that site, at least back then, seemed to vote a higher ranking significantly if you already had
past work on the site.
Some kind of work that was already there. And it seemed like arbitrary to me a little bit. Like, I kind of get it, but like, it all came down to this one little UI thing on the website where when you are looking at somebody's submission back then, they had a little area that said, view this author's other work. And if it was your first ever submission before,
then you would have nothing there.
It would just say, this is their first submission or something like that. Or otherwise it would have like a drop-down menu. And I swear to fucking God that having that drop-down menu there was the difference between getting like a 1 and like a 4. Like, it was like insane how big that margin was. And so I needed something there fucking, like, I could not get anything in there.
When you didn't have anything that you could get up, and it's a catch-22,
Exactly. Yeah. It's like how, like, you can't, unless it's like spectacular, of course. Like everyone,
or it's clock day.
Or fucking clock day, right? Anyway, so finally I got something in. I got my first one, and it wasn't blammed, and, I was all happy about it. And then after that, it took like 0 effort to get anything past that filter. And I just remember thinking, like, that is so weird, and now it's giving me super vivid memories of that whole process when it comes to getting a job in real life. There's something about what is your job experience on the resume,
and that's like 99% of your worth right there.
Exactly. Like you are only worth what you've done for other companies in the past. Like, it seems so short-sighted because there's so many fucking bright young kids who need to get their fucking name in there,
get their foot in the fucking door to to really start
working.
To get shit actually done, for the world, I should say. I guess,
and they have the talent. They have the intelligence, the ability to be able to
power, and
they're a blank slate, which is awesome because if you're like me, now it's like I can't really apply to any job that's not like .NET C#, I'm settled in like Xamarin shit at this point. Whereas like somebody like you or somebody else, it's like I'll fucking learn whatever. Like, I know how Turing machines work. As long as the language is like mostly object oriented, I can fucking handle it. You can learn around it,
Oh, sorry.
It's like, I don't care if it's for mobile. I don't care if it's for web, for embedded systems. I don't give a shit. As long as it's in a language that I can kind of sort of learn, I'll fucking do it. And that's just part of, like, when they teach you those fundamentals in college, you have that ability to be able to do that. I cannot find any other like low-hanging fruit pages at this point. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that like when I was applying, people would always ask like, you know, what do you want to like? I know you want to do computer science or programming, but what do you actually want to do in programming? And I always thought like, I don't know. I don't I mean, and it seems...
I haven't given the opportunity to be able to even ask myself that fucking question.
Yeah, like, because I would love to go into a place and then, you know, maybe work and see how I like it. And then if I don't like it, then maybe I can move somewhere else and then kind of get a better idea. But sometimes it takes just getting that professional exposure. And yeah, college kind of had some of that, and I kind of maybe had a little idea of like, you know, what I wanted to do, but like for the most part, it's like, to be honest, I just want to do something that has me programmed. That's all you know.
Yeah, it's like what do you want to use programming for? To make money. Well, yeah, but what do you want to do with it? To earn a living. Okay, yeah, but like, what do you want to use the programming for? To get a paycheck. Yeah. But like specifically, what do you want to do? I want to be able to earn that paper so I can fucking live as a person in society that requires it. It's like, how about you tell me what you want and I'll do it for you. This is how this works, right? Like, stop asking me like what I'm passionate about and just fucking give me a test or something.
Yeah,
I'll fucking do your work. Just stop fucking treating this like it's like a fucking lifelong
career
thing.
Day, you know?
Yeah, career day, exactly. It's like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Give me like 90 fucking days to prove that I can do your stupid fucking app or whatever you want. That's me being frustrated about the process, not my current job. I want to be clear about that. It's like, just fucking give me something. That's how I felt looking for stuff before I got hired at Flavorous. I mean, that I got really lucky with Flavorous, but like I was also like trying to like get a place in like little indie game studios and stuff, because like there were like little Flash game studios all over the place on the web, and it's like, you know, what kind of college experience do you have? And it's like you make like shit game, like you make games worse than I've made. Just hire me. like stop asking me these questions. You know, it's yeah,
and that's the thing. Like some companies, they don't even so I feel like a lot of them don't appreciate if you say like, oh, I've worked on like solo projects. Like a lot of them,
exactly.
Like even the willpower to do something on your own and to learn on your own and make that stuff, that's not enough either. It's like you have to have a job that does, you know, programming where you earn money from someone else. Like that's kind of what
doesn't that seem ass backwards?
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like it would be more valuable to hire somebody who does really good solo work? Because it means that they did it purely out of passion. But it's like, for some reason, it has to do with like, oh, what company did you work for?
Yeah.
And for how long? It's like, what do you fucking care? Like, I'll take your test. I can answer your questions. I can show you the kind of work that I did on my own. Use that as your basis.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like a boyfriend or a potential boyfriend asking like a girl, like, well, who have you slept with in the past? It's like, what does that matter? You know,
yeah,
like why would that matter?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird analogy.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a fucking long episode.
Yeah, we're going off.
Yeah, we're kind of going down the rabbit hole a little bit.
We're starting to just rant for like half an hour.
I'm fucking pissed. I'm hot. Okay. Shit. Oh god. Okay. Oh okay.
Well, I guess we're doing this.
We're doing this now. Oh, you tit. You tit. Fuck you, tit. You shit. Got him.
Oh, nice.
Nope, we're not done. All right.
But wait, there's more.
Ow. I wasn't ready for this mentally. Tits. No. Slalom. Slalom. Ow. No. No. No.
Wah, wah. Yeah, you just gotta get good with that.
I just gotta get
And
good.
you gotta get mentally prepared.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of a weird analogy for me to use, like, relationship stuff like that. But I feel like it has some merit. Tits.
You chose wrong.
I chose poorly. Fuck you! I tried! Whoa. Nah, I'll take that. Fuck. Oh, shit.
Oh. Oh, yeah,
Well-
you get hurt every time.
Oh, yeah. Alright, well.
Anyway.
Anyway, we'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I'm hot. I'm hot and bothered. I'm angry. But here's my positive takeaway from this. Just keep trying.
Yeah.
Just, like, that's all. It's discouraging. It's bullshit, but try not to let it get you down. Just do what you love to do. And if there's any other even more hippie way I can kind of describe this, the universe will pay it forward in ways that I cannot explain. Just stay passionate with what you love doing. That's all I can say. Like, it's unfortunate that we live in a situation in time where you are worth what money you make, but try not to let that define your future. Like, do what you love to do, and that should be your number one priority.
Yeah. Do something that's gonna make you happy. Yeah.
And then you just kind of, like, if you can do that for a living, then you're
won.
succeeding.
Yeah.
You've won. Unfortunately, people are sometimes not in that good of a situation to be able to do that. Artists have to work, retail to fucking make ends meet. But goddamn, I commend artists who stick with what they love to do.
Yeah.
And
it's super...
against the odds of how you're valued in society today, and just making beautiful things and creating amazing works. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, 37 fucking minutes into this episode. All right, thank you for our very long ranty episode. This is the beginning of the end. I'm done with that space level. I can't take it anymore. I'm not doing the minecart shit anymore. I don't know what the fucking pigs want. So I am on a dead course now to capital B. I want to stop fighting, guys. I'm trying to talk here. Shut the fuck up, capital B. I don't have time for you. Fuck you.
I like how this whole rant in this episode and in the kind of the last part of the last episode all stemmed because we started talking about Jimmy Neutron episodes. That's how all of this started. Started talking about what episodes of Jimmy Neutron we remember.
Yep. All right, well, yep. So, fuck you, Jimmy.
And fuck you, Carl Weezer. Fuck you,
Fuck you,
Sheen.
Sheen. Fuck you, Sydney. Fuck you, Sydney. Damn it.
Cindy.
Cindy.
It's so hard, right? Cindy Vortex. Fuck. My brain is rerouted and like...
Fuck you, Libby. Fuck you, Nick. Fuck you, parents. Whatever your name, Jimbo. Fuck you, Jimbo.
No, it's not Jimbo.
No, I know. Bye.